Do your drums sound simple? Do you feel that you need more group, feeling, or something more than just... Today I will show you how to compose drums from zero, and you will go from this to this. Before we start making things groovy and fancy, we need to lay a foundation, and this is going to be our kick, snare, and hi-hat. Basing that our song is going to be in 4x4, our kick will accent beats 1 and 3, the snare will accent beats 2 and 4, and for the hi-hat, its main purpose is to have a constant inner sound. We will play the hi-hat every 8th note. Now, we could put this in our track, but it would be too simple, so let's spice things up. The purpose of the drums is to indicate the energy of the song, to move it forward or to hold it in place. And this is also linked to the genre that you want to produce, whether it's trap, jazz, rock, or Latin. The groove of a song could put things in motion or stop them. So it's really good to decide what group do you want to do before you make your song. I will be making a rock pop style of drums, kinda like 21 Pilots, Foster the People, Arctic Monkeys, etc. For these types of grooves, the hi-hat and our kick will give us a sense of movement. So, anticipating a beat means to shift a note one subdivision prior to its original place. Anticipated beats 2 or 4 could put things back. Anticipate beats 1 or 3 give us a forward motion. So that's what I'm going to do. We could also add some rhythmic approach notes to emphasize a specific beat. I will put a kick before my snare to emphasize beat 4. We can add these extra percussive sounds to give it a groovier feeling and to highlight any specific part of your song. You can see here that these drums are perfectly on time. And there's nothing wrong with it in particular. It's not very human though. A good drummer will stay on beat but will never be exactly on time. So you can add swing by slightly alternating the notes by moving it a little bit late or early so we can give that human vibe. Velocity is just the amount of force that the note was hit with, and not only a drummer will never hit the drum with the same amount of force every time, but also can help us to be more expressive, being quiet before the climax of the song where everything is loud, for an example. The easiest way to express what ghost notes are is saying that when a drummer hits the snare or whatever, the stick will bounce a couple of times. So we can add this in order to make it more realistic. To add these ghost notes, make sure to add fast notes with slow velocity, like this. A good way to make our drums more realistic is to make 4 bars patterns and create slightly difference between each bar. We can create 3 groups, we can call them A, B, and Z, and we can arrange them like A, B, A, C. This will create a more natural feeling like someone is actually playing the drums. And we can use this to help us to transition between sections and accentuate specific parts of our song. Now, we can do this to set up the form of the song itself, like make a drum for the verse, chorus, and a bridge. This is optional, but applying the same rules that we saw at the beginning, I created 3 different groups that will help us to make our song more entertaining and the drum will fulfill its mission to dictate the pace of the song. Fills are really essential to make our drums spicier, and it could be difficult to get your head around them. So I would recommend you to study the grades, listen a lot, and try to replicate them on your own. But in general, play around with fast notes, triplets, sextuplets. For now, just let's add them at the end of each section to emphasize the changes. Try to play a few notes for less drastic changes, and for bigger changes, try to play with more and faster notes. Applying all the techniques on this video, I was able to come up with this little song. It has a verse, 2 choruses, and a bridge. Pay attention to the difference between each of them and how the drums change the feeling of the song. One of the reasons why your drums may sound lifeless and dull, even after you created a sick drum pattern with all these micro variations, feel, and changes, could be because you may need to add some effects to make them pop. I will not cover this topic during this video, but some essential basic processing will be some EQ, reverb, compression, limiter, saturation, tape, and you can add more depending on any particular sound or genre that you want to produce. An example could be that in trap you would like some 808 saturation, for jazz you want an acoustic feeling, so make sure to experiment in the genre that you want to produce and find the groove that you're looking for. Thank you very much for watching. I hope this was useful. Please comment if you have any questions related to making drums when it comes to this composition part. And subscribe for more weekly content like this. See ya!